So we are just finishing up on the first session of phase 2 in the recovery process, and it's slightly different to what we looked at last week, which was essentially just looking at rolling out the hips and loosening up some of that fascia in the tight area where the hips and the back are seized up, and some core work to adding some additional, what I would say, like expansive work of my breathing to try and get my rib cage whilst in a strong position aligned with my pelvis when the core is engaged, taking deep breaths to expand out the rib cage, kind of down at the lower points here, but also starting to fill out that back area. I've noticed one of the reasons why I get a lot of back issues and what seems like rib issues is to do with the fact that I've got a bit of muscle mass on me, and my mobility in my thoracic cage just isn't the best, and that is going to come at a bit of a hindrance to training things like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where you have to be quite flexible, dynamic, and that's going to come at a cost or a risk of injury. So yeah, focusing in on getting into nice aligned movements with big, deep, expansive breaths, and trying to, I guess, over breathe in terms of the size of the breath. So nasal breathing, interestingly enough, I don't feel as if I can get as a deeper breath I can if I then force some air through the mouth. So it's a big nasal slow breath in, and then at the top pulling it in just to create more of that expansiveness in that rib cage to open it up. Spent a good time doing that, and then I was just moving into some light bodyweight exercises. So I spoke to my chiro, went to see him last week, and we made some good progress, faster progress than expected, which is amazing. And essentially I can get into some bodyweight squats, some bodyweight lunges, just to get some movement, holding myself down in a frog squat position. Again, big deep breaths, open up the space of the hips again, and some mono work, which I don't particularly enjoy. Mono work, I tend to find it quite tedious just being sat here. However, since I bought this Concept 2 bike, there is a workout daily app I enjoy, but can be quite high intensity, and for now that might be a bit too much for the back. Of course, my chiro Dave Bates at Fuchs Chiropractor here in WA has mentioned you don't want to be sitting on the bike for too long because of spinal compression. So I've been doing 10 minutes on here, just nasal breathing, trying to stay nice and controlled with the nasal breath. There was a paper just come out actually about 3 or 4 weeks ago that looked at nasal versus mouth breathing, both in sick people, so people with heart failure, as well as people who had pulmonary hypertension, and a older healthy group and a younger healthy group. And it's just quite clear that nasal breathing creates a more efficient ventilatory pattern. So the amount of oxygen that's being utilized in the body is better. You retain some more CO2 in the body, and that's just going to be better for blood flow all around. And it stabilizes the breathing, and I want to ensure having probably some mechanical dysfunction with my breathing to ensure that I am focused on keeping the nasal breath going for now. So breaking 10 minutes on here, into the core exercises, back to 10 minutes again, into the core exercises, just doing 2 rounds of that, and that will be the progression into week 2, and hopefully week 3 we can start to bring some intensity back into the work again. So that's all for now, and I will catch you when we get into phase 3.